For decades, we were all told a simple story about work. If you work hard, stay loyal to your company, and give it your all, your company will take care of you. It was a promise of a stable career, a secure retirement, and a sense of belonging. But if you look around today, that promise seems to have quietly vanished. What have had? When did companies stop valuing loyalty? Most people never even noticed the moment it changed, because it wasn't a sudden, dramatic betrayal. Companies didn't just wake up one day and decide to be cruel. The system itself simply changed. Once you understand how a modern business actually operates, it becomes crystal clear why employee loyalty just doesn't matter the way it once did. Let's rewind a bit. In the past, companies depended heavily on their long-term employees. Why? Because knowledge lived inside people's heads. The company's secrets, its processes, its customer relationships, all of it was carried by experienced staff. Training new people was incredibly expensive and time-consuming. Replacing a skilled worker was a slow, painful process. So, from a purely financial standpoint, keeping employees loyal made perfect sense. It was a smart investment. But today, the game is completely different. Modern companies are built on a foundation of systems, software, outsourcing, and standardized processes. Knowledge isn't just in people's heads anymore. It's in the cloud, in the software, in the detailed procedure manuals. This shift has made individual workers much easier to replace. Their unique, long-term knowledge is less critical for the company's survival. The entire structure of business has been redesigned around three core principles: flexibility, cost control, and maximizing shareholder value. Notice what's missing from that list. Long-term employee relationships. This fundamental shift explains so many things we see today that feel confusing and unfair. It's why you see companies announcing massive layoffs right after reporting record profits. It's why pensions have all but disappeared, replaced by 401ks that put all the risk on the employee. And it's why, even in highly successful companies, job security feels incredibly fragile. Like you're always one bad quarter away from a pink slip. Many people feel a sense of whiplash when they see executives getting huge bonuses, while thousands of their colleagues are being let go. But from a cold, systemic perspective, it makes perfect sense. In the modern corporate playbook, labor is treated as a variable cost. It's an expense that needs to be adjusted quickly. Who's like you? De-adjust your inventory or your advertising budget. Now, this doesn't mean that business leaders see workers as unimportant human beings. It simply means the structure of modern business, the very machine they are operating, is designed to reward efficiency above all else. And loyalty, from a purely financial view, is often seen as inefficient. One of the biggest mistakes we make is clinging to the old idea that a company is like a family. In reality, a modern corporation functions much more like a complex system optimized for performance metrics, legal protection, and financial outcomes. It's not about feelings, it's about functions. Another common mistake is assuming that long years of service will guarantee your safety. But in a system that's laser-focused on quarterly results and pleasing investors, your 10 or 20 years of commitment often carry far less weight than the numbers on the next earnings report. The pressure for short-term performance is immense, and long-term loyalty can't compete with that. Many of us also believe that if we just become valuable enough, we'll be irreplaceable. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Modern systems are intentionally designed to reduce dependence on any single individual. The goal is to make roles modular and transferable. That's why companies invest so heavily in documentation, automation, and process optimization. It's not because they dislike their workers. It's because a system that relies less on specific people can scale more predictably and is less risky. A business that can't function if one key person goes on vacation is a fragile business. From a financial standpoint, the logic is brutal but simple. Loyalty creates fixed costs. A long-term, high-salaried employee is a predictable, recurring expense. Flexibility, on the other hand, creates optionality, the ability to scale your workforce up or down as needed. And in the world of finance, markets always reward optionality. This same logic is everywhere. Think about insurance. Companies don't build policies around individual people's lives. They build them around risk pools and probabilities. They succeed by managing their overall exposure, not by forming emotional attachments. Your company is doing the exact same thing with its workforce. So when workers feel betrayed that their loyalty isn't rewarded, they're feeling a very real and valid emotion. But the system was never designed to offer emotional reciprocity. It was designed for a transactional exchange. Your time and skills for a paycheck. That's it. Historically, loyalty mattered more when companies were smaller. Competition was local, and growth was slower. But global markets, instant communication, and relentless pressure from investors have completely reshaped corporate priorities. Today, a company has to be able to react instantly to economic shifts, technological disruption, and changing market sentiment. In that environment, a flexible labor force isn't just a nice-to-have. It's a core survival strategy. This isn't to say your loyalty has zero value. A loyal employee is probably more engaged and productive. But that value is no longer central to the big strategic decisions being made in the boardroom. The decision to downsize isn't about whether you're a good worker. It's about hitting a target number on a spreadsheet. A lot of people misinterpret this as a personal failure. They think, what did I do wrong? I gave them everything. But the reality is, you're experiencing a massive structural shift that's affecting millions of workers all at once. This systemic change is the reason why resumes are getting longer, with more jobs listed over shorter periods. It's why job hopping has become a normal and often necessary career strategy. And it's why the idea of a stable, lifelong career path feels like a fairy tale from a bygone era. It also explains the strange paradox of modern corporate culture. Companies spend millions on culture and employee engagement initiatives to keep morale and productivity high. They want you to feel connected and motivated, but at the same time, they maintain the operational ability to cut costs and staff at a moment's notice. Because in the end, morale supports productivity. But loyalty is no longer a binding contract that protects you. Understanding this system isn't meant to be discouraging. In fact, it can be liberating. It removes the confusion and the misplaced guilt. Companies don't wake up in the morning with a devious plan to break your trust. They are simply operating within a framework that rewards financial efficiency, scalability, and risk reduction. Once you see the machine for what it is, the chaotic and often hurtful dynamics of modern work start to make a strange kind of sense. So, the next time you feel that sense of uncertainty, remember this tough loyalty didn't disappear because workers changed or because managers became heartless. It disappeared because the fundamental systems of business evolved. The key takeaway is simple, but powerful. Your loyalty is a personal value, something you choose to give, but it is no longer a core business asset that a company will reliably invest in. Recognizing this reality is the first step to navigating the modern world of work, not because you failed, but because the rules of the game quietly changed for everyone. Thanks for watching, and if this helped you see things a little more clearly, consider subscribing for more insights.